Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again with a review, as much as it can be, of the football action that happened at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 2. We're going to try and pick some of the meat off the bones of that particular game. I've deliberately left this a day or two because I think if I'd have done it straight after, it might have been one of those sort of like ragey kick-off, oh my fucking word, what did we do? How did we manage to fuck that up? But I think with the benefit of a little bit of time, looking back at aspects of the game, I can't watch the whole game back. It's like the cup final. It's just too fucking raw. It's too emotional. It's just too fucking much to watch it all back. But you know, I've watched stuff back of it. I was obviously inside St James's Park. But it's the old adage, you know. It's great when we win. We've done a lot of winning recently. Not against Liverpool, it must be said. A little bit of our bogey side at the moment. But 1,000% loyal. Win, lose, or draw. It's Newcastle United all the way. And I think that in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't really affect too much for the season. Fingers crossed, obviously, about Sven Botman, because that might have an absolutely huge bearing on the fucking season, depending upon how that lad is. But we'll get to that in a little bit. There's certainly no need for any sort of meltdown or blame game, I feel, at this time. Still fresh in the memory, last season, Champions League football, over 38 games, we were one of the best teams in the entire league. If you earn it after 38 games, it is because you are that damn fucking good. So this is a great team, and a team that has got better, a squad that has got better. The club has got better and bigger as well over them times. So I'm calm and I'm quite collected about that. You know, you got to the cup final last year. Who would have absolutely thought that only a couple of years ago under Ashley with his policy on cup games. So coming off the back of an absolutely tremendous season with some great moments, some great highlights, not many defeats, not many negatives and stuff. I take everything with a big, a big pinch of salt, and I'm trying to look at the bigger picture. The project is still very, very much on the way. We've signed some cracking players, and we've improved the squad. So yes, 2 defeats out of 3. It's not great. It's not good enough. It's not what you want. However, you've got to take that into the with the caveat of Manchester City away, Liverpool at home, and a very, very good Aston Villa side. It must be said. I've said it before on the previous games, before and after the Villa game. I think Villa will be involved in European competition again in next season. They are going to be one of the certainly the top 7 or 8 sides in the league. They are one of the better sides. Manchester City are arguably the best fucking team in the entire world at the moment. The football they're playing, the squad they've got, the manager that they've got, the infrastructure, the way of winning, no matter what. They are the standard bearers. So no disgrace to lose that one. And this game, I don't like to give Fanny Face Klopp any sort of credit, but I think it was down to a little bit of a masterstroke of him and having an absolutely world-class player to be able to bring on. But again, we'll get to that. But I just think in the context of where we are at the moment, the journey that the club is on as we speak at the moment, under the new owners and stuff like that, given the fact Champions League football secured last season, a cup final secured last season, we're breaking the club transfer records on players and stuff like that. You've got to look at it in that larger context and think, actually things aren't anywhere near as bad as what they felt undoubtedly after the Liverpool game. We were all absolutely and utterly gutted, bemused. It felt like somebody had just kicked you in the bollocks. It really, really did. The Keegan picture over the Hordens summed it up perfectly. The following did the Sissoko picture, the famous one before he was trying to force his move to Spurs, and he's got like a face like thunder. That was pretty much the entire mood all the way back. I drove all the way, and drove all the way back down home, and I'm sat there with that sort of face on the entire morning. The following day, you're having your morning coffee and stuff like that. You've still got the Sissoko face squarely on, and the mood didn't improve all the way through. But I think on reflection now, I've let another day sort of go by, and you do look at the bigger picture. But at the same time, I just want to highlight the fact that I just don't think there's any blame in this game. I think it was a bit of a masterstroke by Klopp. Like I said, don't like the bloke. Pure and utter fanny face. Annoying twat. But you've got to caveat that with the fact that he played an absolute blinder and he did a bit of a masterstroke and a bit of a number over Newcastle United at the weekend. They are our bogey team. We haven't beaten these since, 2015? I think it was Wijnaldum with a double off the top of my head. So that is a long-ass run against these. And, what I will say is that looking at the fixtures, certainly after the Brighton game, things get considerably easier. We have had the toughest start of any fucker. Never mind just in the Premier League. Any competition you want to say. We have had the most difficult opening set of fixtures that you could have won. It's almost as if it was designed to be like that, wasn't it? But we will come again. There's no doubt about it for me. We're a good team. We've got good players. We've got a great manager. We've got owners who care. All the right things, all the building blocks are there to have success this season. This week is huge. I wanted to get this video done before we sort of rolled into the League Cup draw that's coming up. Then the Champions League draw, the close of the transfer window, and of course the Brighton game and the preview that'll be coming up for that. So I wanted to get it done out of the way. It's not going to be obviously the most viewed video, the most liked video, or anything else like that, but the commitment is for Magpie 24/7. We'll be doing the preview and reviews after every single game, and obviously bringing you as much footage from that we can from inside the stadium, trying to sample the atmospheres and this, that, and the other, and document the journey that this club is on. So thought it important to get the video done and out today on Tuesday, and then just to move forward because there's so many exciting things on the horizon, and we are capable of going down to Brighton and getting a result down there, getting some points on the board, and starting the season again, if you'd like, you know what I mean. But I think if the Newcastle United turn up, who played against Aston Villa, I think we can be absolutely fine. I really, really do. At the end of the day, Newcastle United as a collective fucked up against Liverpool. Klopp out with an absolute masterclass, and we lose a game. We haven't done that a lot recently. So again, in the bigger context, we need to be able to look at that. And it is with that context that we must look as well at the refereeing. I thought the Van Dijk red card was perfectly the correct decision. I think it probably didn't do us much favours, to be honest. But, you're looking at it, the letter of the law, it's a red card, goal scored opportunity. It should have been a red card. What should have also been a red card is for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who had an absolute fucking mare against Anthony Gordon, who was, to me, our best player, certainly. And we're looking just on the black and white side of it. But the referee totally and utterly bottled that decision big style, because once he'd already been booked, he then committed the foul. He's then getting into a situation where it should be another yellow card and them getting his marching orders, and the referee bottles it. The referee absolutely bottles it. There's no consistency from this lot. We'd be better off going to fucking asking one of the Chuckle brothers to referee. I used to kick off against the likes of Uriah Rennie. I used to think, back in the day when the referees were part-time, that they were bad. And I thought, well, if they become full-time professionals, this should get better. But we've all seen the shenanigans that go on. We've all heard what's been happening recently with a certain Mike Dean, haven't we? We all know what happened with the referees in Spain, for example. Everybody, they're just literally corrupt, bent as. They all are on the thought of they've got to protect the likes of your Liverpools, your Manchester Cities, your Man Uniteds, and so on and so forth, because they need those teams for the PR, for the images, for the viewing figures, internationally, for these brands, if you will, and to help the Premier League brand. They've got to have these teams doing well. They can't have them year after year after year not doing enough, So somebody like Newcastle United coming along and upsetting the apple cart, of course, that's going to play into it as well. But the referees, it must be said that they're just not consistent, and that has been as kind as you possibly can, because sometimes you look at decisions and you're like, what the actual fuck have you seen, and how come VAR hasn't jumped in? Because you have absolutely fucked up. But no doubt about it, the ref against Liverpool bottled that second yellow. It should have been marching orders all day long. And Newcastle United could have been playing against 9. Now, I'm not saying that changes the outcome at all, because clearly we played against 10 and we still lost. However, consistency goes out of the window, it seems, when it comes to Premier League referees these days, and they just seem to be getting worse and worse and worse, and the decisions once again always seem to favour the so-called greedy 6, the same 6 who tried to fuck the rest of the league over. So you tell me at the end of the day what you thought about the referee's performance, what you thought about the situation with regards to possibly Liverpool going down to 9. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you think it's fair? Is it something that needs to be looked at? Why are the referees bad and getting worse seemingly all the time? And what can be done about it? Because if you listen to Mike Dean's explanation about what he did and what he said recently about his mate, I'm not buying any of that shite, not for an absolute second. They're all absolutely fucking bent as far as I'm concerned. Getting back to the game, Anthony Gordon I thought was absolutely fucking unbelievable. He had the entire Liverpool team on fucking toast at times. His runs, his tricks, he was purposeful with what he did. He was always trying to get away from in goal, get a shot away. And he was by far the most dangerous Newcastle United player who was on the park. But I thought our midfield, especially in the first half, was really, really good. Joe Linton was absolutely fantastic. He was everywhere, putting himself about. Tonali and Bruno, I thought, were good. There was shots being taken, chances being sorted. And I always felt, as the game was going on, certainly when they went down to 10 men, I'm like, look, we need to start taking some of these fucking chances, because it's written in the fucking stars. If you don't take your chances, it will come and bite you in the ass. And boy, fucking did it later on in this game. But Newcastle United all over them like a fly around shit in the first half. We go in 1-0 up, and you're like, look, we need to come out, and we need to get the second goal. Try and kill this game off. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic first half, and I thought, yeah, more of the same, and hopefully, it doesn't then give an opportunity for a referee or somebody to fuck us over. So, you get into the second half, and Eddie Howe makes his substitutions. The same substitutions that's worked before. I'm not going to criticise substitutions. The subs I don't think particularly worked in this game. But if you're telling me you wouldn't bring on the likes of Harvey Barnes and Callum Wilson, then I disagree with that. Anthony Gordon, I would have liked to have stayed on. Joe Linton has been carrying a knock, was taken off because of that knock. So you've got to understand, there's injuries and there's things that we don't know about. And, again, it's trying to be managed by the bench, managed by the club, managed by Eddie Howe. So again, I'm not going to criticise. This man has produced absolute fucking miracles on Tyneside. Has been Mr. Newcastle United, so I'm not going to criticise. I will give credit to Klopp. You've got to. Like I said, I don't like the bloke. Pure and utter fanny face. But, the tactic was to delay, to frustrate, to slow the game down. Alisson took forever and a day with everything that he did. And, that's part of the game plan. No real qualms with that. That was the game plan. They wanted to get to the last 10-15 minutes to bring on all of the substitutes basically at once and have a real good go. Yes, with a man light, but with the quality that they have got, you always know that they're going to create chances, have a 10 minutes, intense burst, and try and get back into the game, get level, and leave with a point. It worked even better than that because he got himself a brace, and you've got to give credit to him. He was absolutely fantastic when he came on. Another player, Nunes, I think is a bit of a cock end, to be honest. However, he's done the business for him there. It really, really has. Wasn't the best defending in the world, shall we say. The defence, which was, again, fantastic last season, when we needed it, just wasn't at its absolute best. It wasn't helped by, obviously, the injury to Sven Botman. Now, everything fucking crossed that he comes back very, very shortly. We cannot have Sven Botman out for too long. He's our best defender by a clear mile. And the thought of us getting down on numbers at the centre back and having to rely on, I don't know, a Paul Dummett in the Champions League, it would keep me up for many, many nights. It's not taking the piss out of Paul Dummett or disrespecting him, because I've got a lot of respect for him. The loyalty, the service that he's given. He never complains when he's out of the team, etc., and so on and so forth. But if the thought of Paul Dummett at centre back in the Champions League doesn't give you sleepless nights, I don't know what fucking will. I'll get on to transfers and stuff at the minute, in a little minute, but we'll sort of try and finish the painful process of reliving what went on Sunday. But yeah, substitutions didn't work for us. They worked in a massive, massive way for Liverpool. A smash and grab raid, if you will. And all sorts of shit was just kicking off at full time. People were just like, oh my word, pissed off. How can that have happened? What the fuck's gone on? Everybody was just left scratching the head. Everybody, I think, just wanted to get away from the stadium as quickly as possible. Drown the sorrows, wherever that may be. Like I said, I went home with a fucking face like a smacked ass. The Sissoko look, shall we call it, from now on. But I think, once you've let it settle, and it did hurt. It did hurt. I could not do the video yesterday. Carl could not do the video yesterday because it was literally just too much. It was didn't have the answers processed in our heads. But I think the key message after that is, look, we've lost a game of football, but it's important that as a fan base we remain united, because unity has really brought this club on faster. I think it's been the extra secret ingredient that's brought on, the rapid change. You talk about the club making improvements at the training ground, at the stadium, with players, with signings, and so on and so forth. The secret ingredient that has pushed us faster than what the new ownership thought we would get there, is that unity. The fact that everybody rowing in the same direction, that positive energy, that positive momentum has pushed us on more quickly as a club than what the ownership ever would have expected us, to. They didn't expect us to get back into Europe for a couple of seasons. They thought it would be a slow, step-by-step process. We've stepped over about 3 or 4 of them processes in one giant leap. So we are ahead of schedule, and we are ahead of schedule because of that unity, because of that togetherness, and because of the the fanatical support and everything else, and everything just going well for us. At the same time, still losing to Liverpool all the fucking time. Like I said, and won since 2015, I think it is, since that Wijnaldum brace. They're our bogey side. We knew this was going to be a difficult one, but it's so narrow. In this game alone, you look at some of the cracking chances that we had, the great save by their keeper from, I think it was Miggy. How we kept that fucking out, how we kept that score down, I don't know. You look at the chance where Miggy cuts in, does his trademark cut in, takes a shot, and it hits the post and comes back out. These are fine margins. If one of those goes in at 2-0 down, I think it's game set and match. I really, really do. Against Manchester City, we had 1 or 2 opportunities, and whilst it's at 1-0, despite the fact of their great talented squad, we could have pinched something. We could have done a smash and grab raid down at the Etihad. It wasn't meant to be. And then, we absolutely obliterated Aston Villa. So these are small margins against elite level clubs. Liverpool will be at the very top of the table this season, competing for the Champions League, no doubt about it. Manchester City will win the Premier League this season. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. Our games where we've got to win, we've got to get the 3 points, comes against these teams that are coming up shortly, and even like your West Hams and your Palaces and your Burnleys and those sort of teams. We've got to make sure that we get the points against them, because I still think Champions League is a possibility still. Might laugh at me for that, but I certainly think some sort of European football we will get this season. I think ourselves and the likes of Aston Villa are really, really pushing up. we've had a horrendous run of fixtures. Other teams will get those runs of fixtures later on in the season. It just so happens, thank you Premier League and your random computer, that we've got them at the beginning of the season. But our time will come. We've got great players. We've got a great manager. A great everything about our club at the moment. And we're only heading one way, and that's up. And certainly not back into old school Newcastle United. So the good times will start rolling very, very shortly. I have no doubt about it. It just hurts. It just rasps. It's just confusing that what can happen, and it did happen. And it's a difficult one to stomach when you have done so much right, and then in the course of 10 minutes, it's smash and grab, and you come away empty-handed. You know, I thought a draw would have been an unfair reflection on the game. So a defeat is an absolute fucking, have your pants down type job. You know, it's that bad and that embarrassing. But yeah, the message has to be, just stay together. It is an exciting time for the club. Fuck me, with Champions League. I'm sitting here looking earlier on about flights and thinking about, could I get out for the draw? Is there any point of going out for the draw? Am I better off staying in the UK and watching the draw and seeing how things develop and that sort of thing? So, exciting days for the club. A great fixture against Brighton coming up. Two good teams, two good managers, and looking forward to seeing how that one goes. Who do we get in the League Cup? Will it be at home? Will it be away? Can we get to another League Cup final? Can we go one step better? All these sort of exciting, good, positive things to be able to look forward to. This has just been a little bit of a pothole or a speed bump on the road, and it's a long road between now and the end of the season. Who fucking knows? Could be the fucking Champions League knockouts are out. You just don't know, because we do have a great team and we are capable of doing so much more in a slightly adjusted set of circumstances. We could have easily been sat here with 6-7 points. It's not as if we're not creating chances. We're not scoring goals and stuff like that. We are. It's just little things, little moments, little decisions that have gone against us, little bits of bad luck. But yeah, plenty of games to be able to turn it, around. I thought the atmosphere first half was absolutely red hot. It was a little bit more up and down in the second half. Liverpool, I don't really think I heard until the last 10 minutes. Didn't know their fans were absolutely, inside the stadium till the last 10 minutes. And then clearly they're lapping it up, they're loving it, they're thinking life is great. cRaZy, we move on. We'll see them further down the road, no doubt. When we are down to Anfield, we'll give it another go and try and get this bit of a hoodoo off our shoulders, because they are definitely our bogey side. They're certainly the team that you just don't want to get. You don't want to get them in the cup and stuff like that, do we? Or do we? I don't know. Set the record straight. Let me know down below. What do you want? Do you want Liverpool or something in the League Cup draw? That might. You never know. The way it goes, it might be something else. Like that. A few question marks, obviously, from the match. Sven Botman's injury, we were all shitting ourselves because he doesn't go down and he's hobbling off. I think the positive was seeing him walk off under his own steam with a little bit of assistance from the medical team. Didn't use the stretcher, so fingers crossed we get further good news about Sven Botman later in the week. Will he be involved this weekend? I severely doubt it. I really do. But hopefully that's a bit of a wake-up call for the club, because we've not signed anybody in central defence, and I'm a little bit surprised about that. I really am. I think we need a pacey, right-footed centre-back in there. Has that nudged them and scared them into life to think, look, we actually do really, really need this position to be covered? And that's one thing that sort of has gone through my mind recently. I think the team itself has definitely been improved. Tonali is a quality addition. It got to the latter stages of the Champions League. Much talked about, much sought after, much wanted player. Milan fans were gutted when he left. But, Tonali, first team ready, thrown in at the deep end and doing great guns. The rest of the signings that we made are more for your sort of medium term. And my only question really is, have we spent too much money on players for the medium to long term and to improve the squad, as opposed to players who are sort of ready-made for first-team duties, so it can just slide in and slot in straight away? Did we need to be signing, reserve fullbacks? Liverpool, is he going to get in ahead of Trippier? Did we need that position when we got Ashby already on the books? Could we have used that money if there is a limited pot to be able to prioritise other positions which were desperate, like this right centre-back position? Could we have brought in somebody else to give some more competition on the wide right in Miggy's role? Let me know. It's not picking out Miggy because, again, during the match, I was shouting for Miggy. I was singing along with the songs and stuff like that. I think he does a lot of great things. But there is a clamour to get in an additional body in that position. Could we have prioritised some of the funds that we've spent on these players who were sort of playing second or third fiddle, certainly with the likes of Hall so far? Where does he slide in with regards to our left backs? We've got Dan Burn, we've got Matt Targett, who sort of maybe first and second, fighting over the same spot. Then we've added in Lewis Hall to come somewhere in the mix. Let me know where you think they will come in that mix as it settles out. On the other side, we spent a lot of money on getting Livramento in. And again, he's got to be playing second fiddle to Kieran Trippier now. I know as the season goes on, they're going to get plenty of minutes, plenty of games, injuries, suspensions. We'll need to rotate people to keep fresh. I understand that. I think the squad is looking better. We're moving out Deadwood and bringing in players who have some use to the squad. I think that's going to be crucial. We've definitely improved the depth and quality of our squad, but have we spent and targeted enough of our main group of funds in players who you could just say, look, I'm going to chuck straight away in there. That's a desperate need. That can just play straight away. Or have we sort of sat there and thought, look, I'm going to look at the medium term with these signings and think, look, I've got our fullback sorted now for the next 10 plus years. No need to worry there. We've already got a succession plan ready for Kieran Trippier when he gets too old to be able to do this sort of thing. We've got a succession plan at left back. We've got one of the best left backs, one of the best right backs, youngsters going around. Should we have targeted good youngsters for the now and the future, or should we have just said, look, what are our immediate concerns? How can we immediately splash that quality of star power, across the team? Tonali comes in and he's not one that you sit there and think, well, he's just for the future and he can come in when we need to and he's a good squad option for now. You sign him and you're like, this lad is going straight into the first team, straight into the starting 11 because he's that good. Could we have brought somebody in, another centre-back, who is of equal quality to be able to say, right, he's for the future, but he's also for the here and now straight away? Could we have done that? Could we have replaced a Fabian Schär, for example? I love Fabian Schär. I think he's absolutely cracking. I think he's great. But could you have brought somebody in younger and better now, and then had Schär as a squad option to rotate in? To me, centre-back was one of the areas that we really needed to target. And I was a little bit shocked that we were going after another left-back when we already had a few options who could play there. You've got Burn, who was targeted by Klopp and Liverpool, but he stuck at it. He stuck at it. I know what happened in the last 10 minutes. I appreciate that. But for the large part of it, when he was playing in his position he's played in more often than not recently, I thought he did really, really well. Should we have definitely used some of them funds that we'd got, knowing at the beginning that they kept saying it's a limited pool because of FFP constraints? Should we have used some of that and targeted other areas? Let me know down below in the comments. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because I do honestly think that the squad, the pool of players that are available, have never, ever, ever been as good is what it is now. You know, I love the fact that we are moving players on. We're running the club professionally and bringing in players who will give Eddie Howe more options as the season develops. But there are still some areas to me that are glaringly obvious that we could have done with spending a few quid on. I don't like the fact that we've only got 2 recognised out-and-out strikers. I know there's the young lad Parkinson who were there. I'd have liked us to have signed a striker, ideally. I would have liked us to have got that centre-back in. But I understand why we're signing the lad who we've loaned out to Feyenoord, mint one for the future. Kowal, he's gone out again on loan, hasn't he? He's not come in to the reckoning. He's not played anything over pre-season. It's a difficult one because I think they're trying to play it. They're trying to spin so many plates at the club at the moment. It just must just be amazingly busy. You know, you're looking at this documentary that's happening at the moment and you're seeing them sorting out new kit suppliers, trying to get a new sponsor in half the time it normally takes. They're trying to do work on the training ground. They're trying to improve the first team. They're trying to support Eddie Howe. There's so much going on all at once that it literally just must be a case of just, right, I'll keep that plate spinning and I'll keep that plate spinning, and it must be so intense. Even like down to like new dugouts and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we're ripping the dugouts. Why are we doing that? Oh, you've got 2 for the Champions League, and it's like, oh, it's another thing. It's great to see as a fan. So many things happening all at once. It's fantastic to see after over a decade of neglect from Mike Ashley. It's great to see the club. You know, the excitement in a supporter base for just seeing some windows getting cleaned at the fucking stadium. You know, a lick of paint and a bit of MDF up at the training ground and so on and so forth. And it's like £10 million worth of paint and MDF, but you get my point. It's great to see it as a supporter, but there's so much intense, rapid change. So many new sponsors coming in. So many new behind the scenes, people, executives, new people working in departments that didn't even exist before. It must be hard when the change is so rapid. But from a fan, it's just an exciting time. The game and result wasn't exciting. It really, really wasn't. And I didn't want to go too much over it, but I've already rattled on for probably about half an hour. But we move on. It's exciting times. It's happy days at St James's Park and Newcastle United. It really, really is. The big scheme of things, is absolutely fine. Things will look better after a few more matches. I've no doubt about it. 1,000% behind everybody at the club. You could never, ever, ever thank them all enough for what they've done for the football club. This is just a bump on the road. It's a 2-1 defeat against, a very, very good Jurgen Klopp Liverpool. As much as it pains me to say it, and as much as it pains me to give that fanny face any sort of fucking credit whatsoever, sometimes you've just got to say it, and you've got to bite the bullet and just admit that he did an absolute number. He strangled the life out of the game. He made good substitutions. He freshened it up at the right time. And he went fucking hell for leather to get something out of the game. His tactics worked on the day. He got the points. We didn't. We move on. We're looking forward to the Champions League draw, the League Cup draw, the end of the transfer window. Hopefully some more signings. Fingers crossed and touch wood and all that sort of thing. And then we look forward to another great game in the Premier League this weekend. Because, look, got to enjoy every game. It wasn't too long ago that we were just literally fighting relegation or fighting to get back in the Premier League. Things have changed. Things are on the way up. Don't be too down. Remain united. Our time will come, and it'll taste absolutely fucking brilliant. The fucking sweet taste of revenge when we finally get one over Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. But yeah, we move on. I'll be appearing on another channel very, very shortly, doing a video. I'll put, obviously, plenty of prior notice on it, doing a video looking towards the Champions League draw, the League Cup draw, and everything else that's coming up at the weekend. So I'll that'll be on our socials, going on to somebody else's channel just to do that one. But back onto Magpie 24/7, ready to do the preview before the Brighton game. We'll also do a video reacting to the Champions League draw, obviously the League Cup draw as well. We'll have all that content on our own channel as well. But I'll be appearing, a couple of different places. Obviously Kyle as well on True Faith, showing his face on there as well, giving them his viewpoints and his opinions also over on True Faith. So trying to be here, there, and everywhere. It was a painful one doing today's video. This was not the easiest video. It is the rawest and the most upset I think I've ever been after a game, to be honest. But it needed to be done. It needed to be done. That is another one ticked off and in the books. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, Magpie 24/7. We are so close. We might need around about 30 extra subscribers to get past the 2,000 mark. So appreciate if you haven't already subscribed, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to turn on all that sort of thing on YouTube. It helps the algorithm if you can hit the like as well. Do appreciate your support. Doesn't cost you anything. And whilst you're on, follow us on the rest of our socials across the likes of Threads. If you're on that sort of new thing, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, of course. 130,000. We've just passed 130,000 subscribers. I'm just desperate to get past the 2 on YouTube. So I appreciate those that have been with us on the journey on Magpie 24/7. And if you've done that after this video, thank you very, very much. We look forward to the Brighton game. Watch out for me appearing on other accounts here, there. Kyle, other accounts here and there. As we go through a very, very busy week for news for Newcastle United. And in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.